Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you inky savages are joining me for episode number 197 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. Today I have a little rant I want to talk to you about after the sponsorships, but I want to talk to you about a very inexpensive fountain pen made in Japan that has a pretty decent writing quality. Not just a decent writing quality, but a fantastic writing quality. The writing experience is excellent, and the pen itself is excellent, and it's really cheap. But I'm going to rant about it, and I'll tell you why after the sponsorships. But I really want to talk about this because of my experience. I'll share that with you in a minute. But I want to talk about Goldspot pens. Please check out the affiliate link in the description below for the Goldspot pens website affiliate link. And make sure to use coupon code STEWY at checkout for an additional savings on most of the products on the Goldspot website. Some exclusions do apply. Now this week, Tom wants me to talk about the Retro 51 Goldspot Pens Florence Nightingale Rollerball pen. This is actually a really cool pen. It's one of these pens that are not just a drawing and then lacquered, it's actually acid etched. So although this is not a fountain pen, this Tornado Rollerball pen has deep personal meaning for the Goldspot team. Everyone at some point needs to trust their lives in the hands of another. This is a daily reality in the healthcare field where doctors, nurses, EMTs, and other life-saving caregivers work ceaselessly to serve others in a time of utmost need. This collaboration between Retro 51 and Goldspot pens pays homage to the legendary figure whose dedication revolutionized the nursing profession and illuminated the path to healthcare as we know it today. The Retro 51 Florence Nightingale Tornado pen is crafted with an acid-etched, stone-washed copper body. It looks really cool. Elegantly finished with polished copper trim that adds a touch of sophistication. At the heart of this pen's design is a portrait of Florence Nightingale, beautifully illustrated onto the top disc, serving as a constant reminder of her enduring influence. Each pen comes encased in a matching commemorative packaging tube, as all Retro 51s do. And this one will be just arted up real nice, making it a distinguished addition to any collection and a meaningful gift for those who admire the art of fine writing and the medical arts. Writers can dedicate this pen to someone special in the medical field with Goldspot's in-house engraving. A blank spot on the barrel right below the words, "Blessed are the merciful," can be personalized with the name of your healthcare hero. Florence Nightingale had a profound impact on the nursing profession and the care of the ill, injured, and infirm. She was known as the Lady with the Lamp, bringing light into the darkness, reforming healthcare in the mid-19th century by improving hygiene practices. She used her notoriety to transform nursing into a respected occupation, writing books and pamphlets to set the standards for generations of nurses to come. And it's also worthwhile noting that Goldspot has revamped their engraving options on Goldspot to show a mock-up of how your engraving will appear on the actual pen. So after you type in what you want it to say and how many letters and the font and all that cool stuff, it's going to actually have an image of the pen. It's no guesswork. That's how your pen is going to look. You can do that. I think it's a few bucks extra if you do that. There's only 400 of these Retro 51 pens that are going to be released. Again, they're all exclusive to Goldspot. Please use the affiliate link if you're going to purchase one. I think I'm going to get one for some of my nurse friends too. But just be advised, the engraving is $9.50 extra. So that's a really cool, awesome thing. I think it's a beautiful concept. And I always loved the acid-etched look. I remember that they had a dinosaur Retro 51. And it had like acid-etched dinosaur skulls and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. And this one is really cool because of the whole homage to the field of nursing and everything like that, right? Like there was a time, a long time ago, where in the medical field, they would just rinse off surgical tools with cold water. And if it looked clean, it was clean. You know, it's kind of scary, right? I remember seeing that, hearing about that when I was in grade school. We went to Walt Whitman's house, and for some reason during the tour they told us that. But anyway, Goldspot pens, I appreciate your sponsorship. Also, I want to talk about our other sponsors. That is, of course, Luxury Brands of America, and they want me to talk about Colorvive. That's right, you heard right. Colorverse Inc. is releasing the Colorvive Inc. Advent Calendar for this holiday season. Estimated arrival is late September, early October, so get here with plenty of time for the holiday season. So it will get here with plenty of time for the holiday season. It comprises of 24 15 milliliter bottles. They're really cute. Normally priced at a $300 value. So 24 little bottles, little 15 milliliter bottles is normally $300, right? But the Colorvive is priced at $180, giving you an exceptional value for some of the best inks on the market. The top 3 colors based on consumer feedback will then be released as regular edition inks next year. That's really cool. So you buy the 24, you pick your favorite, and then the top 3 that wins a vote, I guess, on Instagram or something, will be regular inks. So they came up with a cool formula of 24 different inks. And if you look at the picture, it's like a big box and there's like little doors in it. And it's an advent calendar. I remember when I was in grade school, we did that with chocolates. Every day we would go into every kid had an advent calendar and we would open the little door and eat a chocolate. Some of my chocolates were like really old and it was like white and powdery, but I didn't care. It tasted good anyway. I don't think chocolate spoils. Does it? I don't know. I hope not. But it doesn't matter. I was in grade school. I'm still alive. We're thrilled to announce the arrival of GLoio's exquisite new Hobonichi Slim Weekly covers. Handcrafted with precision and care in South Korea, these covers are made from the finest full-grain leather, offering both durability and excellence. The simple yet sophisticated design features a layout that perfectly complements your Hobonichi planner, while the range of elegant colors ensures a cover to suit every style. So just look at the pictures. These are actually really cool. It's really sharp looking and really neat looking. Whether you're looking for something minimalistic or more vibrant, these covers are designed to enhance your planning experience. A lighter, brighter interior color complements each case exterior's color, offering a subtle and elegant two-tone colorway. Each case has 4 card slots that can fit up to 2 to 3 cards per slot depending on the card's thickness, right? So it depends on what kind of card we're talking about, right? So if you have like those heavy duty cards, it's not going to fit 3. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Elevate your Hobonichi with the refined craftsmanship and timeless design of GLoio's weekly covers. Now remember, you can get any of these GLoio products on my affiliate link for GLoiomade.com. And just know that if you use PenSavage10, you can get an additional 10% savings on all of the products on the GLoiomade.com website. So take a look at these pictures. They're pretty cool. I think it's a really nice businessy thing, right? It looks very businessy. Enjoy 10% off with coupon code PenSavage10. And visit the new website to get some of the best cases in the industry, trusted by many industry professionals as their choice when traveling to pen shows and events. And there's a lot of those happening right now. Everybody's in San Francisco or somewhere going to a pen show. I'm not, unfortunately, but check it out. So anyway, there's also a couple of rainforest pens on the Retro 51 for luxury brands, so make sure you check those out. But anyway, enough with the sponsorships. I want to get on with my topic. I want to rant about a fountain pen that I've come to know and really like. It was actually brought to my attention. I knew it was around, but never kind of gave it any attention, probably because of how it's sold primarily on Amazon and maybe a couple of stores in the city. But it, you know what? It just never crossed my path. I don't have an excuse or a reason. It just never has. It should have, but now that it has, I want to talk about it. All right. So before I get started with this week's episode of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast, episode number 197, I want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. This podcast is not scripted and therefore will contain potty mouth words. So be forewarned, you have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Stay savage.
So the pen brand in question that I'm talking about is the Muji aluminum fountain pen. Now this is a brand new one. Okay, now this one was purchased on Amazon. And it had to be purchased on Amazon because that's where I only knew to get it. So here's my story and my experience with Muji. I was at work and one of my friends at work, one of my colleagues, he got into fountain pens a couple years ago. The reason why he got into fountain pens a couple years ago is because I gifted him a fountain pen. I gifted him a Laban. It was a metal Laban, really nice. It had like guilloche patterns on it. It was lacquered. I gifted him a narwhal. It was one of the Peter Draws. He really liked that. And since then, he's always been using those pens. He's been a big proponent of using those pens. He doesn't go out and actively just buy pens like he's addicted, like I do and like all of us do, but he does make very, how do I say, financially frugal decisions when it comes to buying anything, right? He'll research and he'll do all kinds of stuff. So, you know, he was away for about 6 months, maybe a little longer, and then he came back. And when he came back to work, I saw that he was using the Muji aluminum fountain pen. And he was telling me how much he loved it for its everyday quick draw capacity, quick draw ability, and he loved it for how it wrote. So I was like, let me try out that bad boy. Let me take that bad boy for a spin. So he let me write with it, and lo and behold, it had a number 4 size. It's a really small Schmidt nib. Looks like a Jowo nib. And to my knowledge, I think some of the Schmidt nibs are made by Jowo, hence the similarities, but it's not branded. It's a Schmidt nib, and it's a cartridge converter filled fountain pen, I believe. I think it's cartridge converter. I'm going to open this up. I actually have one, but what he did and I did when I got my first one, this is my second one, is he takes a blunt point syringe and he fills an international long cartridge with whatever ink he wants. And then he just uses that. And he feels that that's better than using a converter. I don't actually know if you can use a converter in this. We'll find out. I do have a bunch of converters over there, but it might cause the whole place to fall down if I try to grab it. But this Muji pen, when I wrote with it, it had a very nice toothiness, slight feedback. It was a very interesting pen because it was so slim. It doesn't seem like a pen that you would want to cartridge, fill from a bottle. Converter fill from a bottle. And the reason why is because the section is so short and it's knurled. So when you get ink on it, it's going to be a real pain in the butt to wipe off the section. So that was a reason why I didn't even try the converter yet. I didn't even see if it would fit in the barrel, being the barrel is so lean. But I got one myself. I ordered it on Amazon. He told me he got it on Amazon. And what happened was it came. I wrote with it. I liked it. It was fine. Nothing wrong with it. No complaints. Cool pen. But then as I was wandering around Manhattan one day, I saw a Muji store. So I decided, you know what? I have a few minutes. Let me run inside. So I went inside the Muji store, and they have all kinds of stuff. They got notebooks, they got pencils, they got disposable pens, disposable pencils, they got the cutesy like erasers and all these like just a whole slew and variety of different markers that you can write with and whatnot. And it was a very fun stationery store. It had a lot of stationery products, and I don't know, I might have seen that Muji store there at least 100 times, but never really registered, never really cared, right? I would drive past it or walk past it, and it never drew my attention. It's kind of like how, when you buy a car, let's say you bought yourself a Honda Civic, you don't realize how many Honda Civics are on the road until you buy a Honda Civic, and then all of a sudden you're just starting to notice Honda Civics everywhere, right? It seems like that's the only car on the road. Same thing with the Muji. Until I got the Muji pen and started writing with it, I honestly didn't pay any attention to the brand. And what a shitload of regret. So anyway, I went into the Muji store. I'm walking around. I thought to myself, this store is really big. It's a really big store. There's so many different sections and stuff. But I didn't want to say, excuse me, I didn't want to ask for help. Where's the fountain pen section or anything like that? Because the store was interesting enough that I wanted to find it on my own. So I had been there for about 10 minutes, and finally I'm getting impatient, looking around, looking at all the papers and notebooks, erasers, pens, pencils, felt tip pens, and all the little toys and trinkets. They had like bags and like cutesy stuff. I couldn't find the fountain pen. So finally I go up to the cashier, a nice lady, and then I said, excuse me, ma'am, I'm looking for the aluminum fountain pen. And she said what no fountain pen enthusiast ever wants to hear. She said, oh, that fountain pen is no longer available. So I said, what? Why? What? What do you mean no longer available? She's like, oh, it's discontinued. So I'm like, what the fuck? Why? It's such a cool pen. She's like, yeah, I know. Everybody loves it. I'm like, why do brands do that? I don't understand. I remember a lot of times brands will have a successful product and they decide not to leave well enough alone. What they decide is, hey, this product is really successful. Everybody loves it. We're just going to go ahead and, discontinue it or change it or make it into something else, even though everybody is perfectly happy and fine with what they have, right? That happens all the time. So in one case where it doesn't happen is Lamy. Lamy 2000 has been the same, stays the same, and is the same, and will continue to be the same. It'll keep selling. Great. They made a navy blue one, which is great. Who cares? But as long as they keep making something that everybody likes and wants and don't try to change it just because, right? If it's doing well, why change it? And that's where I'm at with the Muji pen. I'm really disappointed. So I bought another one. And I haven't opened it since I got it, and I've had it in my possession for a little while because I actually did want to do kind of a semi-unboxing. I don't feel like doing a review for this pen because if I do, I'm reviewing a pen that may potentially be something that you can't get your hands on anymore, and that would really suck. So this is what it looks like, okay? This is the Muji fountain pen. It's made of aluminum, comes in one color. It's in a plastic bag. Now, here's the great thing about this pen. This pen is only $20. Anywhere you go, it's only $20, unless it's at the point where people are scalping the price on eBay, like the eBay sharks. But this pen is only $20. On Amazon, it was only $20. And before it was discontinued, it was only $20. I don't know how it is that they sell it anywhere else, but apparently they put so much tape on this thing, it's really impossible to open with your hands unless you have a knife. So anyway, I got it, I think. Nope, they really make sure that this thing is taped in. But yeah, like I was saying, I was really disappointed to find out that this is not a pen that's going to be continuously available because it's such an accessible pen. It's such a pen that I think, because of my friend, this is a bag in a bag. So anyway, I ripped it. I didn't do a very graceful job, sorry, because there was so much plastic and tape. But the pen is pretty basic, bare bones. It comes with the pen in one sleeve with all this Japanese writing right there. And it also has 2 ink cartridges that come with it. Now, the pen is actually made in Japan. The ink cartridges are made in Austria. So they're just your standard international size pens. I'm sorry, ink cartridges. Then this little plastic pen body bag is just a little envelope that you pull up. If they didn't tape it. It's just got the sticky stuff. And then here's your pen. Okay? It's a very simplistic design. Very industrial, but at the same time sleek. I like how the cap is a snap cap for quick removal. And this is what I was talking about. The section is short, okay? Now the grip section is knurled over here, and there's not a lot of play, a lot of space between the knurled grip section and this collar. So what could happen is, as you're going a cartridge fill, which I think this can support a converter, but as you go to fill it, ink gets onto the knurled section, and there's also a recess in the, the collar over here where the grip section ends and the nib unit housing collar is. There's a space, so ink's going to get in there, and then it's going to get onto the cap portion that goes inside of it. It's going to get all over the grip. Wiping off the grip is not going to be easy. It also includes an ink cartridge inside the barrel. When you open it up, it just fell out. So that's what you get. It's very bare bones, not a lot of bells and whistles, but it's a very cool, light pen that is very suitable for everyday scenarios. It's not a luxury pen. It's a very good starter pen. It's a very quick draw writer, and I really do like it. The thing that I didn't like about all of them for some reason is when you go to post it, it takes a significant amount of pressure to put the cap in, which can be mitigated by just rotating it in. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why it's like that. Every single one is like that. If you try to post the pen, it takes a good amount of muscle before it clips in or thunks in. And it's just really easy if you just rotate it on, just a little rotation. So the way this pen writes is really good. It's a Schmidt nib, and I know that in the past people have called it the shit nib, but being that the Schmidt nibs are, I believe, made by JoWo because of how they look, as well as because the feeds are identical to JoWo feeds, I think it's a JoWo nib, even though it has the Schmidt branding, but it writes just fine. And it's a really good pen. It has a small little clip. It's a very unassuming profile, very modern, I don't know, industrial. I like it. And I have two. Do I need two? No. But I went into the Muji store to see if they had these in different colors. I didn't do much research on it. They didn't have it. They didn't even have it for sale because it's no longer available, which is heartbreaking. Now, having said that, what I did is I just went on Amazon right then and there and I ordered another one to my house. So here it is. I'm sure that there's a lot of copycats out there. I haven't looked into it because this happened recently, but I don't know why they would discontinue this. Maybe there are copycats out there that are copying them, and that's why they're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to make this pen anymore because people keep copying. As a matter of fact, that's happened in the past too, not pen related, but if anybody knows who Bill Watterson is, anybody know who Bill Watterson is? He's the guy who made Calvin and Hobbes. And I remember Calvin and Hobbes growing up. I loved that comic strip, and I had the books that he sold. And I read them, and I read them over and over and over. They were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Calvin and his stuffed tiger. And I love the concept that Calvin is just this kid who has such an active imagination that he brings to life his stuffed animal tiger. I thought it was really adorable and innocent. I know that there are people out there that commented on it, talking about this is really a dive into like schizophrenia or some kind of mental disorder. I don't think that's it. I think it was just a comic strip, and I thought it was just funny because of the kid's imagination and whatnot. But Calvin and Bill Watterson decided that he's going to stop doing Calvin and Hobbes because there are too many bootlegs out there. I can't remember the word. I got hit in the head a bunch of times this week. Not forfeiture. Oh my goodness. Whatever. I don't claim to be smart. But you guys know what I mean. It's like counterfeit products and stuff out there that were Calvin and Hobbes that weren't licensed by him, and he got sick of it and decided he's going to stop doing the Calvin and Hobbes comic strip. That's what I heard back in the 90s. I don't know if that's actually true. So you can fact check me and then leave it in the comments below. But this pen here, only being $20, I think deserves more attention. I think if you're able to get it, which I'm pretty sure you are. If you go on Amazon, I'm pretty sure there's more of them. But I think that if you're able to get it, you should go ahead and get it and give it a shot if you don't have one. If you do have one, get another one because you might lose your first one. Who knows? But once they're gone, I'm assuming they're going to be gone forever. And then you got the eBay scalpers that are going to take advantage of that stuff, right? So my intent was to review this pen until I found out that it was discontinued. But if this were a review, I would say the good is the way it writes, its design, its simplicity, it's comfortable, light, it's an everyday pen, it's a quick draw pen. You can use it for anything, whatever you do. If you have a job that has a lot of, I guess, banging around and you drop stuff a lot, this is a great pen for that. It's durable, it's light. If you're a business person, or a banker, this is actually a really good looking pen. You can post or not post it. You just got to twist it a little in order to make it post easily. Otherwise, you have to really force it in. I don't know why it's like that, but it's really hard. But if you just turn a little bit, it goes in real easy. So there's that. I don't know what that is about or why they decided to do that. But when you're capping the pen, easy peasy, nice little snap, right? It's not a Diplomat Arrow satisfying snap. It's not that level of snap, but it's a decent snap. It's secure enough to make me feel comfortable. This rattling is the ink cartridge. When you put another ink cartridge in and install it, it doesn't rattle around, but you could put one in and then you could store one in the back. I really like that concept. So if this were a review, I would say that the good is that, and I already went through everything about this pen that is neither good or bad. It has a number 4 sized Jowo/Schmidt nib with the appropriate feed. Its cartridge converter has a knurled grip section. It's just a tube. It's literally a cigarette pen, right? It's a cigarette shaped pen. They use cigar shaped pen all the time. This one's a cigarette shaped pen. And the front end, the back end looks the same as the front end almost. And you can post it, you can not post it. The difference between posting and not posting when it comes to writing balance is very nominal because it's such a light pen. So I would also say when it comes to the bad, talking about money, really cheap, $20 pen. You can't get a better gateway pen, starter pen, everyday pen. I think it's a really good pen. Everybody talks about the Pilot Metropolitan. Great pens. I love them. They're great. They're the ones that I would always recommend first. I would say, yeah, get the Pilot Metropolitan as your first starter pen. It's only a $20 pen. This is now, if it were in production and not discontinued, this is what I would give somebody or tell someone to get if they're looking for a $20 pen that's a beginner pen and they're a newbie and want to just start writing with a fountain pen. Why not? It's inexpensive. It gets the job done. It's got some style. It's cool. So this is the pen that I would say is the starter pen, the Muji aluminum fountain pen. But unfortunately, they're not going to produce it anymore. I don't know why. I want to find out. And whoever's over there, if whoever's making the decision, these pens are great. They're selling. People like them. So stop drinking and sober up and reverse that decision, for fuck's sake. But this is a great pen. I would definitely say pull the trigger on this pen. And my writing experience with it, like I said, is fantastic. It's funny. I was talking about this with my wife the other day. It's funny how sometimes pens that are under $25 can outperform pens that cost in the hundreds. This one is up there. Some of you may not like how simplistic and small the clip is. I don't know. But this has definitely got style. It's a stylistic pen. It's modern looking. You can like it even if at first you don't, right? There's qualities about it that you would say, hey, I'm not crazy about it. But you know what? It grew on me. A lot about this pen can grow on you. Now, this is not a work of art. Maybe, right? Modern art. But it's not like an acrylic pen hand-turned in Italy and all that stuff. It's not any of that stuff. This is just your basic fountain pen. Gets the job done for $20, is durable. It's good for students. It's good for professionals. Is it going to wow people if you go into a business meeting like a Montblanc would? Probably not, right? But then again, if you're not pen savvy or you're not into the whole luxury stuff, then a Montblanc wouldn't wow somebody either. However, a fountain pen always seems to get people's attention. Oh, are you writing with one of those feathers? One of those old pens? Yeah. So I think if you're going into a meeting and you want to draw some attention to yourself and you start writing with a fountain pen, any fountain pen, it'll definitely turn heads and start conversations and give you the floor. And if they're into pens or if they're into high-end stuff and you have a Montblanc, yeah, then you're going to own the room. From what my buddy over at Kenro Industry says, with a Montblanc, if you go into a meeting and you pull out a Montblanc, you own the fucking room. So, that's what, you don't actually own the fucking room, but you know what I mean. Like, it will turn heads, it'll draw attention. It's like walking in wearing a Rolex. But who cares about that? If you walk into a meeting with this pen is going to catch looks. It's going to be something that you're like, oh, wow, check that out. It's cool. It's a fountain pen. Yeah, how much is that? Oh, it's $20. And to a lot of people, $20 is going to be like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. But I love the Muji aluminum fountain pen. I wish they didn't discontinue it. Sucks having to find out that way. Sucks being late to the party. But at least I have 2 of them for myself, and I might even just go on Amazon right now and get another one just for shits and giggles. But anyway, that was what I wanted to talk about. How many of you guys have the Muji fountain pens? What's your experience with the Muji fountain pens? What nib size do you have? I think it's only medium and fine, right? And what do you think of the Muji brand when it comes to the fountain pens? I do know that they have other models out there. I haven't experimented with them, and I think, lesson learned, I should probably open up my spectrum to these pens and give them a shot, because they may just discontinue them. Who knows? But anyway, I do regret that they discontinued them. I do regret that I'm late to the party, and I hope that you guys can give me your feedback in the description below. Tell me what you think about the Muji fountain pen. If you're going to get one now, are you going to FOMO the shit out of it and then go on Amazon and start ordering them? Do you have one? Have you never had one? Are you going to get one now? They're not available at Gold Spot Pens, so unfortunately, and they won't be because they're being discontinued. Fuck, man. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with this. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing a very interesting group of people, some people that I've come to know because of circumstances in my life. They are the Pellicotts. So basically, next week is not going to be fountain pen related, but it is going to be a very eye-opening and very interesting episode, because I'm going to be speaking to Jacqueline Pellicott and her mother, Sherry Pellicott. If you guys Google it, or if you heard of her, you would know what the story is, but in case you don't, Jacqueline Pellicott, when she was 20 years old, suffered a traumatic brain injury from a severe car accident. And the interview is going to be talking about the experience of the mother and the father and the family and friends while Jacqueline was in a coma for almost a year, and then the experience of Jacqueline when she woke up, how she dealt with having woken up from a coma, the challenges she faced, as well as her future. So stay tuned for that one. Like I said, it's not pen related. It is pen related in one way. So just so you guys know, just to give you guys a quick preview, Jacqueline and her family decided to, after surviving this coma where everybody said she would be dead, decided to do this charity organization called Jacqueline Strong. It's basically, they're going around the country and they're meeting with families who have members or loved ones suffering from TBI and giving them money and giving them moral support. It's called Jacqueline Strong. And every year they do 3 different events. The one coming up in October is called the Run Walk for Jacqueline Strong charity event. 100% of the proceeds for that goes to the Jacqueline Strong Foundation, and then goes to families, distributes to families that are having problems with medical costs. So the reason why this is pen related is because I was talking with Jacqueline and she was talking about a goodie bag. So everybody pays the $25 to be part of the run/walk, or they just donate $25 if they can't make it. And she was talking about a goodie bag. She likes throwing pens in there. So I said, oh, hold the phone. Pens? Did you say pens? So anyway, I talked to my good friend Neve over at Jaffa Brands, and Jaffa Brands, obviously, as you all know, is the owners and founders of Monteverde. They're the owners of Conklin, and they distribute for many brands. They listened to me talk about this. I was talking about how she wanted 500 pens that she can throw into goodie bags because they're hoping for that many runners and whatnot. So he has all these promotional pens, right? So basically he has these pens that he makes through Jaffa Brands that you can get any logo you want on them. So I said, okay, great. I was just thinking, what I'll do is, just to contribute to the Jacqueline Strong Foundation, I'll eat the cost and I'll pay for it out of pocket myself and then donate the pens to her. I didn't have to do that because Niv was just like, okay, you want 500? I'll get them to you. And I gave him the address to the Jacqueline Strong Foundation. He had them made and sent to her, and he was eating the cost. He said it was his donation. So I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I told that to the Jacqueline Strong Foundation, and they said, oh, we have a paper for tax deduction. So I said, oh, okay, cool. So I told Neve, I'm like, hey, Neve, there's a paper for tax deduction. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. We don't need it. So very kind people over at Jaffa Brands, owners of Conklin and Monteverde and distributors of Peniter. and a bunch of others I just can't think off the top of my head. But much thanks to Neve over at Yafa Brands and Yafa Brands for being so generous to donate 500 pens to be part of a giveaway grab bag for the Jacqueline Strong Foundation for their annual run on October 25th. But next week I will be interviewing Jacqueline and Sherry Pellicott, talking about their experience, talking about what they went through, how they perceived it, what it was like, as well as what they're doing now, how they got to where they're doing now, and we'll just be talking about stuff like that. So if that's not your thing, it's, no harm, no foul. You don't have to watch it. I don't think if it's a sensitive topic, but it's very edifying because traumatic brain injury is something that happens a lot, and we don't hear about it as much as all the other things that we hear about, right? Shootings, slashings, crime, this, that, and the other thing. Traumatic brain injuries happen because of car accidents. They happen because of strokes. There's so many ways that it happens, and it affects so many people. And when families are in comas or loved ones are in comas, it's a very difficult time. And what this foundation is doing, the Jacqueline Strong Foundation, is so helpful and uplifting, and it just gives so much hope to people to know her story. So I wanted to have her on because they need help spreading the story. They need help talking about the run and the charity events and stuff like that. So please tune in. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. Thanks again for tuning in for episode number 197 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. I love you guys. Be well, be safe.